Yo, what's going on, guys? HyperX here, and welcome to the future, quite literally, for Battlefield. Battlefield 2042. This is the next installment for the Battlefield franchise. EA just revealed the game in their sort of teaser trailer, so to speak, and later on this week, June the 13th, in Microsoft's press conference, we'll be getting our first look at the gameplay. Now, I very fortunately had a chance the other week to drop into an event and see some of this stuff ahead of time, and today I want to put together your complete guide to everything pre-release that we know so far about Battlefield, giving you the complete lowdown in what you can expect in Battlefield 2042, modes, maps, specialists, basically everything I can currently talk about. This doesn't of course include gameplay, that will be coming later, and of course there are various other things they plan to reveal over the coming months, but today if you want to know what's new, then let's get started. If you do enjoy this, a like would be super appreciated. If you guys are excited for Battlefield and you want to see more on this channel, definitely let us know. But to begin with, first things first, the launch date for this is October the 22nd this year. The plan for this is that it will be releasing on pretty much all platforms, PC via Origin, Steam and the Epic Game Store, as well as PlayStation 5 and PS4 and Xbox Series X and S, and also Xbox One. It is worth noting, of course, for the last generation platforms, there will be some adjustments, because of course this is going pretty big scale, but we'll touch on that a little bit later. First things first, a couple of things you want to know. Of course, in Battlefield 2042, they want to go much grander scale. They're of course leveraging the sort of cutting edge technology that both the PCs and the next generation hardware is able to deliver, and that means that you'll have matches full of up to 128 players. Again, this is one of the things that's worth noting. On the next generation systems and PC, you will of course get those 128 player matches. Meanwhile, if you're playing on PS4 or Xbox One, you will have smaller sized matches. But this is going pretty massive scale, and of course in 2042 it also ups the action with the inclusion of real-time events that will take place in the map that will both reshape the battlefield and the way that you fight in combat. There are new weapons, vehicles, gadgets, and plenty of freedom to basically change the way you play. We'll expand on that a little bit later in this video. Firstly, on the story front, for those of you guys that want to know a little bit about the setting, the year is, surprise, surprise, 2042. The world is on the brink. Shortages of food, energy, and clean water have led to dozens of failed nations, creating the greatest refugee crisis in human history. Among these non-patrioted, or the no-pats, are families, farmers, engineers, and even soldiers. And amidst the crisis, the United States and Russia draw the world into an all-out war, and the no-pat specialists join both sides, not fighting for a flag, but instead fighting for the future of the non-patrioted in the new world. So that's kind of your general premise. Now, it's also very important to note that the focus here is on multiplayer. This will not be a Battlefield that delivers a single player campaign. They really wanted to sort of dial in and focus much more on the the main stuff that they are known for, the thing that will of course keep people playing for a long time, and that of course is the multiplayer. And speaking of multiplayer, the modes right now are split into three distinct features. The first one, the one that we know most about, the one that we got to sort of see and hear about in the reveal, is All-Out Warfare. This is the next generation of the fan favourite modes Conquest and Breakthrough. This features the largest maps that they've ever had in the franchise, again with up to 128 players, and you get to experience the intensity of all-out warfare in large-scale battles like never before, on maps filled with dynamic weather, dangerous environmental hazards, and spectacular world events. However, on top of that, there are two additional modes. One of them is still to be announced, so we don't necessarily know too much about that just yet. The other one is Hazard Zone. This is an all-new, high-stakes, squad-based game type for the Battlefield franchise. So this is supposed to be new, something we haven't had or something we haven't experienced before. And it's basically their modern take on the multiplayer experience that is distinctly DICE, but also very different from the all-out kind of Conquest and Breakthrough modes. They also specify that this is not a Battle Royale mode. So quite what it will be, we'll have to wait and see. If you guys have got any speculations, let me know down below. And again, the third mode that is still to be announced, this one is being developed by DICE LA, and is again another new exciting game mode for the franchise, and this is said to be a love letter to Battlefield fans, and one that long-time players will feel right at home with. But if you want to find out more about that one, you're going to have to wait until EA Play Live on July the 22nd, so basically more reveals coming your way. However, taking a moment to talk about the scale and some of the maps. Broadly speaking, maps in 2042 have of course been built for the next generation. They're designed to be huge, like bigger than the maps that we've ever experienced to date. And of course, this scale allows for incredible gameplay experiences. To quickly sort of go over some of the maps they've listed so far, we have Kaleidoscope, which is set in South Korea. Forces here will clash to control the quantum powered disinformation hub after an attack that threatens the global network. We then have Manifest, which is set in Singapore. Players will then see a strategic flashpoint emerge as a global trade chokes this location, which is vital for the American supply lines. You have Orbital, which looks incredibly cool, and the battle here actually takes place over a rocket launch site as this controversial space launch becomes a race against time, and they actually specifically said that sometimes the rocket launch will, happen in the match, and sometimes it will go well, other times it may not, and of course this can play into some of the sort of map-changing Levolution elements that will be present in-game. There's a map called Discarded, set in India, where you see shipbreakers facing tidal extremes as factions fight to secure rogue nuclear assets. You have Renewal, which is in Egypt. Players fight over groundbreaking agriculture technology in the center of the Egyptian deserts. You have Hourglass, which is in Qatar, where shifting sands and a lost shipping convoy tear a city center apart. And you have Breakaway, one of my favorite maps visually, just because I love snow, which is set in Antarctica, where you struggle over oil and gas that pushes soldiers to the brink as the industry that clashes with nature and ice gives way. Now, of course, those are only sort of some of the looks so far. We've got a few screenshots which you can see. And again, from what we've seen so far, the maps are looking incredible. However, outside of that, there are some changes to the way that you'll be playing the game. You still, of course, have, class-style loadouts, but you have specialists this time around, and players jump into the boots of these different specialists, and it's an all-new type of playable soldier for the franchise. It's inspired by the traditional 4 Battlefield classes that you'll be familiar with. However, specialists will be equipped with their own unique specialist trait and speciality, along with another trait, and will have customizable loadouts. At launch, Battlefield 2042 will launch with 10 specialists, with the first 4 already being shown. So the ones that we have so far, I apologise if I get some of the names wrong for these ones, but you have Wikus Casper Van Dale. He's from South Africa. His class is Recon. His specialty is an OVP Recon drone, and his trait is Movement Sensor. You then have Webster McKay, who comes from Canada, is an Assault class type. Their specialty is the grappling hook, which I am incredibly excited about. I've said this before, give me a grappling hook in any game and I will be there. So the fact that you can use this to just snap and pull yourself around the environment is going to be super cool. So yeah, you've got grappling hook for that one, and their trait is Nimble. You have Maria Falk, who comes from Germany, who is the support type. She has the S21 Siret pistol, and her trait is Combat Surgeon. And you have Pyotr Boris Guskovsky, who comes from Russia. He's an engineer. His specialty is the SG-36 Sentry gun, and he has the Sentry Operator trait. So again, with these ones, while they fall into the sort of very similar class archetypes, the specialist nature of them basically gives you more sort of perks to play around with. So if you want some of those gadgets and you really want to sort of lean into a particular playstyle, then you'll definitely lean more heavily into those characters. Of course, outside of that, we also have plenty of weapons and vehicles. I mean, it wouldn't be a Battlefield game without weapons. And this one, of course, being slightly more in the future, allows for some cutting-edge technology. There's actually some really cool systems as well. You have the Plus system, which basically allows you to customize your weapons in real time. So if you're familiar with, previous Battlefields, you would make your customizations beforehand, assign them to, of course, your loadouts, and then you would pick them upon dying and respawning. Meanwhile, in this one, with the Plus system, you can quite literally, in real time, bring up this menu and adjust things on the fly, changing, say, your weapon's scope. So suddenly, if you were to go into close quarters, you can switch from a range scope to a close scope. You can switch out the barrel, the ammo type, the under barrel attachment, things like that. So it's definitely give you some sort of a versatility in combat. There's, of course, also a ton of different vehicles. We've seen things like hovercrafts, tiny things like tuk-tuks, of course, helicopters, other things like that. And you also have a call-in tablet, which quite literally allows you to call in vehicles whenever you want. So instead of loading in on the map and then having to sort of hop into a vehicle, instead you can just call it down. Quite whether there's a limit for that one will of course remain to be seen. I imagine there probably will be, but you can use this strategically, and you could of course call things in to land on top of someone. And then on top of that, vehicles also incorporate more team collaboration, with every single seat actually having a vital role to play this time around. So you have things like anti-air seats, spotter seats, gunner type seats, that kind of thing. So the more players that occupy a vehicle, the more opportunities the squad can utilize. And then finally, talking about the actual service for the game, of course, there are plans to support it. It is designed to be a live service game, so post-launch, Battlefield 2042 is going to have a battle pass for each season that will include both free and premium tiers. They want to keep the community playing together in new and exciting ways, so each season will push a narrative of the world forward, whilst also having a steady stream of new content come into the game, so that way basically players always have something new to chase. And in the first year, there are going to be 4 seasons with 4 battle passes, with 4 new specialists and new locations. So basically, lots more stuff to look forward to. So as it currently stands, that's a little rundown of everything we have so far information-wise, of course without talking about the gameplay itself. Once the gameplay trailer drops during the Xbox conference, we will be taking a deeper dive into that and actually talking about some of the stuff we have seen, but from a sort of top-level pre-launch overview, if you want to know what to expect from this new installment in the franchise, that is what you have to look forward to. So, for the time being, thank you very much for watching. Again, if you guys are excited for this and you want to sort of see more Battlefield stuff from us, I know it's quite different to some of the stuff we've covered on the channel before, but it is a game we intend to play ourselves. So if you are interested for that, you want to find out more, stay tuned, turn those notifications so you don't miss the uploads. We've got plenty more stuff this week. Of course, it's E3, it's hype, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. So yeah, definitely stick around. If you want to catch more from us at HyperX Gaming, don't forget you can catch the guys TwoSixNine and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch weekdays, playing a variety of games. If you guys want to jump in, tune in, watch, and even join in, then make sure you check them out. The links to those are in the description box down below, and of course you can join the Discord to get involved in all of the discussions.